Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're doing something a bit different. We're stepping away from, the usual reports and diving into something really personal, a gardening journal. It's quite a unique way to see how someone thinks and reflects on their passion over a long time, get these insights into growth, patience, and, well, how we all change our approach to things.
Yeah, exactly. Our source today is one specific entry from Gardening Journal, a 600-post reflection. It's titled Notes on Gardening, Part 600, and it was published on July 20th, 2025. And this one really focuses on the journey from post 500 to 600. So about 3 months of activity and thinking.
And what's so interesting, I think, is that it's not just about gardening, is it? It really speaks to how anyone who's like dedicated to something, a hobby, a skill, whatever, how they refine things, how they adapt, that kind of makes you reflect on your own journey with things you care about. Okay, so let's get into it. What was Ang the gardener actually doing during these 3 months? The journal says this period was dedicated to long neglected propagation projects. What does that focus on? Neglected things tell us right off the bat.
Well, it suggests maybe a conscious decision to go back to basics, perhaps, a strategic re-engagement. And these propagation projects specifically involved both seeds and cuttings. Ang was experimenting with both water methods, soilless, basically, and the traditional soil route. So a lot of variety there.
And what really jumps out is this resourceful, experimental vibe. Ang talks about using seeds nearing their expiry dates, and even trying things like readily available grocery store seeds, like peanuts, not for the peanuts themselves, it seems, but more to practice germination techniques.
Yeah, that's fascinating, isn't it? It's such a great example of using what you have, valuing every resource, even something simple like sprouting a peanut, becomes a chance to hone a skill, deepen understanding. That's real ingenuity, I think. How can you, the listener, maybe turn everyday things into learning moments like that?
Ang also mentions visiting plant nurseries less often during this time. Still went occasionally, though, to discover and evaluate new plant species. But interestingly, expresses wanting to go more often in the future, and not just for the plants, but also to, quote, increase my daily physical activity.
Ah, see, that's an interesting connection. It sort of subtly links this passion gardening with broader well-being. It shows how hobbies can naturally weave into other life goals, like physical health, making it feel less like a chore,
Yeah.
more holistic.
Okay, but here's where I think it gets really interesting. The shift in Ang's actual approach. What really struck me was this idea of becoming both more refined and, ironically, more relaxed and less structured, especially with seed germination. That feels like a paradox, doesn't it? How does that work?
It does sound like one, but it's actually a pretty common thing you see as people gain real expertise. It's like moving from strictly following the rules step by step to developing this deeper intuitive feel for it. The basic knowledge is so ingrained that it allows for more flexibility, more confidence, and yeah, ironically, less need to micromanage everything. You trust the process because you fundamentally understand it.
And Ang gives concrete examples, right? Like, instead of sowing seeds individually in trays, I've simply scattered them in larger round trays and pots, allowing nature to take its course. That really captures the relaxed part of it.
Exactly. And it extends to watering, too. Ang mentions adopting bottom watering as my almost daily watering approach. The focus there is on encouraging strong root growth. And there's this note. The hot and humid weather we've experienced has certainly supported this watering method. So it's not just a new technique in isolation, it shows adaptation, working with the environment. That's a sign of deeper understanding, surely.
Yeah, that blend of refined yet relaxed is really compelling. It makes you wonder, what other complex things in life could benefit from that, trusting the fundamentals so you can let go a bit.
Definitely. And looking beyond just the gardening techniques, Ang also touches on, well, life stuff. Acknowledges there's still taking my time setting up various indoor and outdoor gardening areas, but indicates this setup will become a primary focus in the coming months.
Right, and there's that relatable line, many tasks to follow through on, but some higher priorities in life naturally take precedence. That feels very honest, doesn't it? Juggling passions with everything else.
Absolutely. It grounds the whole thing in reality. Even a passion you're deeply into, like this, exists within a bigger picture. It's about finding that balance, knowing when maybe you need to shift focus for a bit.
And then there's that little hint at the end, Aang mentions. I may start to indulge in another long, dormant pursuit. Leaves you wondering what that might be.
It does. It speaks to maybe the cyclical nature of our interests, rediscovering things. And the entry wraps up with Aang looking forward to my 700th post. which in itself says a lot. It's clearly not about arriving somewhere final. It's about the ongoing journey, the reflection, the learning.
Yeah, absolutely. Eng's whole gardening journey,
Mhm.
especially this snapshot from post 500 to 600, it really works as this powerful analogy for almost any learning process, doesn't it? It highlights experimenting, adapting, that surprising mix of becoming more refined and more relaxed, and ultimately understanding how our bigger life priorities shape even our deepest interests.
Well said. And perhaps a final thought for you, the listener, to take away from this. Thinking about your own path, your own learning, is there a long dormant pursuit lurking for you? And could embracing a more, let's say, relaxed yet refined approach help you cultivate some new growth in your own life, something to ponder?